AITAH for telling my wife I don't give a damn how she drives when it's just her and her kids in the car, but if me or our kids are in it, she must be safe. My wife had 2 kids before we got married and have an actively involved father. We have had 2 children of our own. My wife is a terrible driver, but she refuses to acknowledge this. She has been in multiple accidents and even had her license suspended, not for a DUI or anything, just because she is a shitty driver. She will do stuff like reach into the back seat to deal with a kid rather than either pull over or let me or one of the older kids deal with it. She got T-boned in August last year because she took her foot off the brake at a red light to pick up my son's soother that had fallen out. She didn't put the car in park. Thankfully, only she was injured. All 4 kids were in the car. I have had it. I told her that she is welcome to endanger herself and her kids, but that if I am in the car or if our children are in the car, she will keep her eyes on the road and her hands on the steering wheel. She is finally at the point in her rehab where she can drive again. I reminded her of what I said. I told her that I loved her. I said that her older kids were important to me and that I loved them too. But I told her that if she ever decided to do stupid HT while driving, our relationship would be over and I would make it part of our divorce that she not be allowed to drive with my kids in the car. She started crying and said she didn't do it on purpose. I asked her how exactly she took her hands off the wheel, took off her seatbelt, took her foot off the brake, and turned around to pick up the soother by accident. She said that I'm treating her like an idiot. I don't think I am. My children have to be safe. Before you ask, I try and do as much of the driving as I possibly can. I have stopped drinking when we go out. I traded in my car that I loved for SUV, so there is room for all of us. I offered to pay for Uber so she didn't have to drive if I wasn't available. She actually likes driving. Her ex and her parents are on my side. He also told her that if she ever thinks about endangering his kids, and he would either go for full custody or ask that she be barred from driving with his kids in the car. Her parents have threatened to stop helping her pay her stupid high insurance premiums. She thinks we are being unfair because she loves her kids and would never intentionally harm them. She just loses concentration when one of the kids needs something and doesn't think to ask for help. First comment, NTA. Your wife is too dangerous to be allowed to drive. There are 2 kinds of drivers that cause most of the problems, and both stem from thinking you are a better driver than you are. I'll let the Dunning-Kruger effect handle the implications of why that happens. The most dangerous are almost exclusively men who think they are great at driving, when in fact they are insanely aggressive and drive like an asshole with a death wish. These people, along with drunks, cause the majority of fatal wrecks. If you are being tailgated, there is a 100% chance this guy is the one doing it. Chances are they drive a Ram, BMW, or Tesla. Your wife, thankfully, is the only second most dangerous type, typically female drivers who are inattentive and unserious. You described the behaviors perfectly, and this type of driver has rear-ended me at a traffic light 3 separate times. These drivers cause huge amounts of accidents by being stochastic hazards, such as rolling out into an intersection during a red light. These drivers prefer large SUVs as they know they will get in a wreck and want to make sure they are safe, often to the fatal detriment of the safe drivers involved in the wreck. They are almost as dangerous as drunks and often prone to distracted driving. If we could ban these 2 groups from driving, traffic fatalities and wrecks would substantially decrease, bringing down insurance rates for the rest of us. Please take her keys away, for the good of your children and everyone else's children. Second comment, NTA. Your wife is too dangerous to be allowed to drive. There are 2 kinds of drivers that cause most of the problems, and both stem from thinking you are a better driver than you are. I'll let the Dunning-Kruger effect handle the implications of why that happens. The most dangerous are almost exclusively men who think they are great at driving, when in fact they are insanely aggressive and drive like an asshole with a death wish. These people, along with drunks, cause the majority of fatal wrecks. If you are being tailgated, there is a 100% chance this guy is the one doing it. Chances are they drive a Ram, BMW, or Tesla. Your wife, thankfully, is the only second most dangerous type, typically female drivers who are inattentive and unserious. You described the behaviors perfectly, and this type of driver has rear-ended me at a traffic light 3 separate times. These drivers cause huge amounts of accidents by being stochastic hazards, such as just rolling out into an intersection during a red light. These drivers prefer large SUVs as they know they will get in a wreck and want to make sure they are safe, often to the fatal detriment of the safe drivers involved in the wreck. They are almost as dangerous as drunks, and often prone to distracted driving. If we could ban these 2 groups from driving, traffic fatalities and wrecks would substantially decrease, bringing down insurance rates for the rest of us. Please take her keys away for the good of your children and everyone else's children. Third comment, okay, but you're way beyond that. How are you affording insurance for her? I want to say NTA, but truly every adult in this situation is failing your kids and stepkids, especially if you continue to let her drive at all. At this point, she might as well be drinking and driving. I used to do medical massage in hospitals and out. The bulk of my work came from MVAs. 100% of those accidents were caused by someone doing something stupid. Texting, drinking and driving, or being distracted by external factors. All of these things are changeable. I have seen some horrific shit. Truly life-changing accidents where people never recover. Even a minor accident can lead to life-altering pain later in life. Every accident has a consequence, even if you don't see it immediately. My brother is a retired firefighter and paramedic. He retired at 43 because he had PTSD. Why does he have PTSD? Because his department used to have to respond to one of the most dangerous sections of highways in Canada. People texting for just a second, or I'd just be looked away from the road for a minute to adjust the music. He once had to deal with a family that witnessed a family member get decapitated when the driver answered the phone and swerved towards a logging truck. It was a moment, just a second, where the driver wasn't paying attention. My brother was so traumatized after that event, he still has nightmares. I'm somewhat obsessive about making safe driving choices. You should be too. No one should ever get into a car with your wife again, unless they're actually okay being injured or dead. Don't let your kids or your stepkids get in the car with her. Full stop. No negotiating. No calling the police as she doesn't behave. Nobody should be in the car with her at the wheel. Don't be an that way. You would be devastated if someone died and you knew you could have done more to stop her. You kids are not adults and can't consent. You're allowing her to risk their lives. Stop it. Sell her car, revoke her insurance, find other transportation for the kids. Stop this. You allowing her to drive your kids is a phenomenally bad choice. AITAH, how are you going to feel if she kills someone else's family? Child? Mom? Dad? It only takes a second. Even if you remove your own kids, she could hurt or kill someone else with this carelessness. Fourth comment, she has been in multiple accidents for this behavior and has not learned from it. Her parents pay for her high insurance premiums that she got from having so many damn accidents, enabling her to continue the behavior with no consequences or motivation to stop, such as, ouch, I can't afford those. She was in an accident with all of the kids in the car, was injured herself enough to need rehab, and it's only by the grace of heaven that the kids weren't killed. T-boned? Seriously? That would have been the last time she was allowed to drive with my kids, period. You waiting for her to do it again to enforce boundaries and consequences that should have been set the first time she got in an accident is also enabling her and risking both her and the kids. If she does it again and something happens to the kids, it will be your fault as much as hers for not putting a stop to it. How would you feel if this time something permanent happened to the kids or the other people in the car she hits? Side note, you might want to get her checked for ADHD or something along those lines. Losing concentration while driving when one of the kids needs something and not thinking of asking for help sounds like she may be easily distractible, have trouble focusing. Maybe, if that's the case, medication can help her stay focused. Plenty of ADHD people are able to drive without endangering themselves, their families, and the general public.